Good morning. How are you all doing? First thing, you don't need the headphones. Slight technical thing. Headphones aren't working, so you're just coming out the speakers, hopefully. I think we're going to try and fix it for later on, but for now, no headphones. So, welcome along to the IMRG Theatre. Quick show of hands, who's heard of IMRG? Oh, a few of you. If you haven't heard of IMRG, today's going to be a very good day when you discover IMRG and what we can do. So we are the UK's e-commerce association, and we exist to give retailers benchmarks and market information. So the way it works is we have a big panel of retailers. Here is a bunch of them. This is not all of them. We've got about 220 companies. Every single week, they tell us how much money they have made on their website. They say exactly how much pounds they've made, how many orders they had, the traffic volumes that came to their website. Quite sensitive information. We basically then add it up to say collectively as a group, how did they perform? And it represents about £26 billion in online spend each year. So it's a very good sample of what is generally going on in the market. People use us to benchmark their own performance against the industry. Now, a couple of times a year, we send a survey to this panel of retailers, and we say, can you tell us lots of nitty-gritty, useful bits of information about your checkout, or your email performance, or your site search? So what you're about to see are the results from that survey that we sent to our panel, and they were telling us all about the journeys that people go on through their website, the site search and the navigation that we use. And hopefully this will prove to give you some very handy benchmarks around what a good search looks like and some tips and tricks on how to actually improve. And we've also got a guest speaker from Klevu here who's going to be talking to you around site search as well. Very, very industry experts there as well. So, let's get started with some site journeys. How long do you reckon the average person spends on a website? What's the industry average, actual dwell time that someone does? It's just under 4 minutes is the amount of time someone will spend on your website on average. But the problem is, that's going down. So we tracked that over a couple of years, actually. This is all the way back when the pandemic started in 2020 on the left-hand side there. Slowly but surely, the amount of time spent on a website is going down. So the point is, you've got less and less time to get them in the right place onto that product page and hopefully buy something from you. In terms of conversion, imagine that you've got 100% of all your traffic lined up. We got told by our panel, out of all that traffic, where does it start? What is the landing point that traffic comes in on? Roughly a fifth will start on your homepage, and then about 39% on average will start on the product page. But if you want to know what that looks like at conversion level, on average, the overall website gets a conversion rate of 2.8%. That is your industry average. But if you took the traffic that started on the homepage and isolated that, and you want to know what that stuff looks like as a conversion, it's quite good. It's 4.1%. The stuff that starts on the product page, meanwhile, isolate that. What is the conversion rate of those sessions? It's not quite as good. We were quite interested by this. Basically what that is, a lot of it, this green bit, the product page, that'll be someone usually coming in from a Google shopping bit, see the product, don't like it and leave. But if they come to your website from their homepage, a lot of that traffic is going to be direct. Them going www.retailerilike.com. Little bit more inclination and intent to purchase. So once you've got them on your site, one of the main things you want to be doing is site search. So we're going to spend a lot of time now looking at site search. Imagine this is your homepage. Someone's on it, they're looking at it, and hopefully they will click on that little box at the top that's got the search option. That happens on average 13% of all your traffic will use site search. Doesn't sound like a lot, but as you'll find out, that is the gold dust of your traffic. Over time, that 13% wanders about. So sometimes it shoots up to as high as 16%, sometimes it goes down to 10 or 11. On average, across 3 or 4 years, it's pretty much stuck at 13%. So when someone uses search on your website, what are they actually typing in? You can categorize it into kind of 2 groups. They're either searching for a product type or a brand or product name. Here are some examples. If it's a product type, they're going, right, I want to have a duvet or a sofa. It's a thing. Whereas the brand is, as you might understand, it's Levi's, it's, oh, I want Apple, I want Le Creuset this, whatever it is. As part of the survey that we sent to our panel, we asked retailers to tell us to go and look at all of the search terms that they've had on their site and divvy it up. How much was a product type and how much was a brand name? And it's a pretty handsome split in favor of product type. So people are coming on a lot more looking for a specific thing. Now, what about the type of person that's actually using the search? Are they new customers? Is it people coming on going, oh, I've never been on your website before, I'm going to use the search? Or is it a returning customer? Retailers told us what the industry average looks like. It's a fairly even split. You shouldn't necessarily assume just because someone is brand new to your site that they are more likely to use search. But if we go across to this, remember this slide that I showed you a second ago, if we get rid of the traffic that was coming from the home page or that was landing on the product page, and instead, if we replace that with the traffic that is using search. Now that was 13% of the traffic, remember. The conversion rate of the traffic that uses search is fantastic. 6.8% is the industry average. So once they've used search, they are really, really likely to actually go on and purchase in comparison to another journey. In fact, what we did was we pulled out a random, I think this is like 39 retailers or something. We asked them to tell us what their overall website conversion was, and we've lined them up here from lowest on the left to highest on the right, what their website gets traditionally as a conversion rate, and then tell us what it looks like for all the people that use search. In every single example, the traffic that uses search converts better, and sometimes way better. So once you've got them to use search, and they hopefully end up on a product page, fingers crossed, they're going to press that magic button and add something to their bag. Any guesses as to what the industry average add to bag rate is? So out of all the sessions that look at a product page, how many actually go, yes, I'm going to put that item in my trolley? What does that look like for all the average, all the website visitors? And what does it look like for people that have used search to end up on that product page? It's a massive difference. So again, the likelihood of someone converting with you once they've used search is fantastic. A full kind of 10 percentage point increase. Oh, and by the way, once someone actually gets onto your product page, have you ever wondered about the scroll depth? Like all the stuff that you're putting at the bottom of that page, do people actually see it? We asked retailers to tell us to go onto their product pages and look at the analytics to see what kind of scroll depth people are doing. And the answer is really interesting. So imagine on the right here, you've got the scroll depth. 100% is all the way at the bottom. They have to flick through loads of stuff. We asked retailers to tell us what percentage of all the traffic that looks at a product page actually makes it down that page. So the first bit is halfway. Doesn't sound like a big ask, does it? How much of the traffic actually makes it to halfway? Just 40% of the sessions that look at a product page will make it that far. If you keep going to 3/4 of the way down, you're down to just 1/4 of all your traffic. So that's quite a nice little soundbite. only a quarter of your sessions will make it 3/4 of the way down your product page. And lastly, the stuff all the way at the bottom, 90% of the way is only reached by 16% of your traffic. So when you are planning the layout of that product page, put all the good stuff at the top, put the free delivery at the top, put the sizing information at the top, all that other rubbish, they're probably not going to see. Now, we've got loads of other stuff around search coming up, but I'm going to introduce our guest speaker now, Mairaid from Klevu. They are industry experts on search. So I'll hand over to Mairaid. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is it just a clicker?
It is the right-hand side there, yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool.
You're good.
So hi everyone, thank you so much for joining. My name is Mairaid and I head up EMEA partnerships at Klevu. So today I'm going to be going through some top tips to really help you optimize your product discovery journey on sites. So product discovery is a critical part of the digital function, and it can be seen as low-hanging fruit when considering value for money with the high impact it has on conversion. So firstly, what is product discovery and why is it so important? So product discovery is the process by which customers are able to find products on your e-commerce store. And as retailers, you want to make this journey as easy and seamless as possible. But the problem we've got now is consumer journeys are messier than ever. They go on a website, they'll go onto social channels, they'll read reviews, they'll go onto competitors. So it's really important when they land on site, as IMRG said, you've got less than 4 minutes of an average kind of web session user to really connect them with the right products that they're looking for so they're able to convert quickly. And these are all of just the different touch points where you can influence and you can expose products to shoppers landing on your e-commerce store. Here's a census that we did at Klevu, which tracks AOV and conversion rate across different verticals. And as you can see, it's notably higher when using a third party. But now let's look at the impact when someone is searching on an e-commerce store. So whilst pets, overall e-commerce conversion rate was between 7 to 8%, when someone is using search, that figure catapults to almost 16%. And the good news is, in a YouGov report that we commissioned, 65% of shoppers frequently use the search bar. So now I'm going to be going through some Klevu features through the lens of pain points for shoppers on an e-commerce store. So firstly, it sounds obvious, but we know that search converts better than any other journey on site. How do you get people to use it? It sounds obvious, but expose it. Make sure it's prominent across both desktop and mobile. As you can see with CSOL, a really great example, search is at the forefront of their discovery journey on their website, on desktop. And on mobile, they changed it from being an icon in the header to fully exposed and full width. And they saw a 42% year-on-year increase in sessions and a 41% increase in revenue from those sessions. So now it's exposed, people can see it, they can find it. What do you do next? Well, instruct them and let them know the types of queries they can be making on your e-commerce store. So GF Smith is a really nice example of this. They've got moving placeholder text to let the shopper know the types of queries they can be making. So if you're a fashion retailer, you might say search by brand, search by style, search by size. The next thing as well is then to make search that really helpful virtual assistant. So you want to predict what your shopper is searching for even before they've finished the query. So as you can see here on Paul Smith, I'm making a search, I can see relevant suggestions, I can see content associated to the products, relevant kind of products as well, and strong product imagery. So now you can see search, you know the types of things you can be searching for, it's your helpful virtual assistant, it's visually appealing. What's important next? Well, next is, can it be trusted? Is it relevant? In a study we did at Klevu across 80 retailers, we found that 75% of e-commerce stores delivered irrelevant or no results found when natural language semantics were used. But the search box is the most effective way to establish dialogue and trust with your customer. And we found at Klevu, across a study of our customers, that conversion rate peaks when between 3 to 5 keywords are used. But as I said, most retailers aren't able to deliver relevant results and build trust with their shoppers. So here's some just good examples of things that you should be looking out for. Can your search handle misspellings? So especially, you mentioned Le Creuset. I would not know how to spell that accurately, if I'm honest. But here you can see on Totem, one of our clients, if I misspell blazer, it's showcasing highly relevant results out of the box without any manual input needed. So that's the basics. What's next? People often use different terminology to convey the same meaning. Now, I'm not a tooling enthusiast, but apparently nail gun and nailer mean the same thing. So as you can see with Klevu, when I'm searching for either query, I'm seeing exactly the same result set. And this is happening automatically. So just to give you a bit of insight into what is happening in the back end, here, once we've understood the context of the product catalog, we automatically enrich it, which gives it up to 3 to 5 times more depth and coverage of products that would have been missed. Another example is measurement normalization. So really important in different kind of verticals. Can your search comprehend millimeters to centimeters, milliliters to liters, etc.? Really important that this is automated to reduce the manual effort for your teams. And then here's a great example of kind of more conversational style queries. So men's blazer under 700. What Klevu is able to do here in our technology is understand that blazer is the noun, so it should be given the highest priority, and everything else is a filter. So out of all of the blazers, filter out all of the ones for men, and then price parsing to find all of the blazers that fit between the pricing parameters. Now, why is this important? You've seen this slide before, but it's because when 3 to 6 keywords are used in a query, that's when conversion rate soars. Automate banners and merchandising. So are you running a weekend sale? Are you showcasing this in search across both desktop and mobile? Are there banners showcasing that? Are you promoting products in order to align with that campaign? Really utilize, across search, merchandising, recommendations, the ability to expose the promotions that you're running. Do you have filters? Are they AI driven? Can you track the use of filters to help with marketing campaigns that you might be running and the ordering of filters on your e-commerce store? Moving on now more onto the recommendation side of things. So just under half of adults were influenced by product recommendations in the last 6 months. And here's just a really good example of the types of recommendations you can be having. So on a product detail page, think about the positioning. As Matthew said, only 40% of traffic goes to the top 50% of your PDP. So where are the product recommendations? Can you see the product recommendations? And are you offering relevant, personalized product recommendations to your customers? It should be across blogs. It should be on the homepage. Really inspire that kind of discovery journey with your customers. Really is a really nice example of someone that showcased recommendations on their checkout and put in logic where if the basket value was $75 or less, they then made sure that the products that were recommended in the basket were $50 or less. Personalization is also key. So making sure that it resets, so you're not caught in a filter bubble. And this is really great for gifting journeys. And we see a pretty consistent 6% increase in conversion rate and order values when personalization is used. And here's just a really nice example of one of our clients, online home shop, where you can see I'm searching for bed sheets. I then show an affinity to a specific color, and therefore I'm seeing more bed sheets from that color. So it will work with brand, style, whatever, but in this example, it's quite visual to use color. And then, as Matthew was saying, the product detail page converts at 2.8%, 2.9%. So we've now launched another product called Ask Low, which is a virtual assistant on a product detail page to help you find the information you want around a product without needing to kind of reach out to support channels. It provides great insight into your product listing pages and resolving queries as well. At Klevu, we do offer a free audit that runs through a lot of the tips and tricks I've covered here today. And you're more than welcome to take a picture here and request your e-commerce audit, or go to klevu.com/audit. It's free and covers a lot of what I've gone through today. So just on Klevu, we're specifically built for e-commerce, so everything we do is with conversion rate optimizations in mind. We're a full e-commerce product discovery suite, which includes search, merchandising, recommendations, and Ask Low. Here are some clients that we work with across different verticals, platforms, and territories. Paul Smith is one of our kind of flagship clients that really advocates for AI and automation. Great examples from Top Stars as well, with quite a large product catalog range. And then online home shop case study that really shows the value of personalization. Thank you so much for listening today, and please do come and find me afterwards if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. That was really good. I like that. 3 to 5 words. That's what you've got to get them to type in. So, site search continued, IMRG survey, if you remember. If you've just joined us, IMRG sent a survey out to a load of retailers. They told us how their site search is doing. What we thought would be interesting to break down is if a retailer looks at all the money they have earned that's come through their electronic tills, what proportion of that can be attributed back to somebody that used search during that session? And the answer is really interesting. So nearly a third of the average retailer's revenue comes from the fact that someone has used search during that go. So does that mean that people who are using search are actually spending more each transaction? We asked retailers to tell us. So on the left, you've got the average order value of people that use search, and on the right, you've got people that didn't use search. What do you reckon the answer's going to be? It's basically the same. Just a pound in it. Basically nothing when you're doing averages. The thing is, per transaction, people will be spending the same if they've used search. But the thing is, because they convert at such a fantastic rate, they represent a much larger chunk of the overall revenue. So just 13% will be using search, but it represents about 30% of your revenue because it's converting so well. So how do you measure that your search is actually working properly or not? A good way to do it is to look at your exit rate. So an exit rate basically measures how many times someone leaves off that page out of all the times it gets viewed. So for example, just to explain to make sure everyone is on the same page, someone comes onto your website and they enter via the homepage. They then navigate and use your search, and they go through to some search results page. Hopefully they click on something, they go through to a product page, and then they exit. That would be an exit for the product page, because that session looked at multiple pages, and then the one that they left on was the product page. So to calculate it, let's say your product page overall across a certain time period got 1,000 views out of all your product pages. The exits that you had, where that was the last page that someone saw before they left your site, say it was 100, nice and easy, you would have a 10% exit rate. We asked retailers to tell us what the exit rate looks like for their homepage, for their search results page, and their product page. Which of those three do you think gets the highest exit rate? Take a guess in your head. This is the industry average. 20% is your number. Go and look at it in your analytics. If you are above 20% as an exit rate, that should be setting off some alarm bells, telling you that what's being served up on that search result page isn't matching what the customer is searching for. If it is, you probably want to go and speak to Klevu, because they'll sort you out. So, if you're not doing search, you might do navigation. So here is our homepage. What if I don't want to use the search? What if I want to use that box at the top and I'll go through all the navigation menus and the drill downs? How often does that get used? It's about 18% of the time on average. So a little bit more than search, but importantly, let's go back to our little asset here. 18% of the traffic comes from those that use navigation. What is the industry average conversion rate for people that have used the nav bar? It's good, but it's not as good. 5.2% is the industry average. So search is the king, but it represents less. In fact, here's a fun little stat for you. If you had 1,000 people come onto your website, some used search, some used nav, they would actually generate the same number of orders for you. Now there's a bit of rounding up going on there. If you had 10,000, it's not quite even and search is better, but at a lower level, when the rounding doesn't count, they're about the same. So that is the end of the site search presentation. Hopefully useful, some useful insights from myself and Klevu. A quick note, if you are interested in IMRG, if you like this sort of stuff, if you want market benchmarking, if you want interesting studies, have a discussion with us over there on our stand and become a member. All of our market data, where we've got these 220 retailers giving us loads of information, is accessible via a dashboard that we have. It's a tool that sits on our website. If you become a member, you get a login, and you can see market sales updated every week. You can compare your conversion rates, basket values, marketing performance. All these sorts of talks that we do are on there to watch as well. There's loads of good stuff. Please do have a chat with my colleagues over there. But that is it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that was interesting. Cheers.